other different types of dementia, and depending upon where the difficulties lie, that in the illness determines the course of treatment.
Yes, you can. All you have to do is want to do it.
Yes.
Want to be it.
Can you set your mind to it? And this is who you are, and
the grown men. We have the youth that we need to mentor, and we need to inspire, and we need to motivate. But I know, as a recent conversation between you and I, that you're also in the business of motivating grown men. Through that, I'm supposed to see God in it at every turn. So me going to the Sea of Galilee was to remind me of that, to refresh myself of that. It is all under control, that He does have it. It's just as clear as that fresh water that I saw.
You're Our Unity, hosted by LaShawn Walker, Tuesday nights, 6 p.m. EST.
Welcome, everyone, to Your Our Unity, a show that wishes to spread a spirit of peace and love in the world, one conversation at a time. We want to encourage you to live out loud. I want you to abate fear. I want you to live boldly and passionately. I want you to forget what other people think. I don't want you to listen to anything that is not of you. I want you to live the life that God created you to have and live it with purpose. I am your host, LaShawn Walker. I'd like to welcome you in. Please like, share, and follow. Let everyone know that we're on right now. I hope that you guys had a wonderful week. I had a nice, calm weekend. I'm usually all over the place and showing you a bunch of pictures, but today I'm actually not going to do that. I'm trying to hold on to summer as much as I possibly can. So please, in the chat, let me know what you guys did. But this weekend, I attended a wedding of one of our beautiful guests here at the Your Our Unity show. The judge in my town, Miss Brianna Vaughn, got married to her sweetheart. It was so wonderful and beautiful to be a part of that young love and just to see how happy they were to actually just fulfill that moment in each other's life, that union. So it was beautiful. I don't have any pictures. I didn't want to, show you guys too much of what was going on, but it was beautiful. It really was. I got dressed up and I felt glamorous and I met so many people in my community. So it was definitely a beautiful day. And, the next day I was able to attend church. My pastor was preaching at a local church. So I decided to attend that. And mentioning and going back to last week's show, I hope you guys were able to take advantage of the just valuable and important information that our queens were able to give you. Queen Destiny and Queen Celine just dropped some beautiful jewels into our spirit. And they encouraged us to just be confident and just have such great self-esteem, and more importantly, know your self-worth. So when I went to church on Sunday, that's what was reinforced: my confidence, my self-worth. The message was that God sees you. And in that moment, it made me feel so calm and so at ease that regardless of what I'm going through, and for the last week or so, I've been going through a lot, but I've been going through some stuff, and it just made me feel good to just let me know that God still has everything under control, and all I have to do is lean on Him, and that He sees me in the good times and the bad. So I hope you guys took advantage of the little tips that they gave us. I actually, had an opportunity to sit with myself for a moment, because if you remember, I believe Destiny mentioned that sometimes she has some quality time with herself. And when she spends that quality time with herself, she goes and takes herself out to lunch or dinner, or she goes to the spa, whatever that may be. I have a hard time being by myself sometimes. I love the energy of people. I love being around others. So I usually don't dine by myself. I usually don't go to the store by myself and take trips by myself. But Sunday after church, I was supposed to meet my girlfriend who was visiting from Maryland. And we made reservations, and she was like an hour or so late. Usually I would sit in the car and just wait for her to arrive. But I decided I was going to go into the restaurant and I was going to sit with myself for that hour and change. And it was amazing. It was cathartic. I people watched. I looked around. I saw all the different people and the families that came in there. I observed how they were interacting with each other and just the happiness that I saw in a lot of people's faces, the fact that they probably haven't seen each other in a while. There were a lot of celebrations going on. It was just beautiful just to sit in that moment and pay attention to everything else that's going on in the world besides what's going on in my world. And it was comforting. So please take advantage of spending some time with yourself. It was helpful for me. And these little girls, this young queen is very young, 2021, and she encouraged me to do so, and I took advantage of it. So I hope the same. And then I had to start Monday, and Monday made me realize, after I just had this weekend, there was a whole bunch of back to school drives and school shopping. It is the frenzy of the incoming fall season. And I felt it. It was palpable all around me. And I was kind of upset about that because I'm trying so hard to hold on to summer. I want that energy to continue. I want that sun to continue shining. I love actually the little calm breeze outside, but I really don't want the summer to end, the fun, the activities, the community gatherings. I don't want any of those things to end. And unfortunately, it is soon happening. This weekend, we're going to be in Labor Day, which is why I decided to wear my white, because I didn't want anybody telling me I couldn't after the holiday. But I decided to catch as much of the summer as I could this week. And in doing so, I've just been trying to make my plans, perfectly align with me maintaining that energy and that vibrant spirit and just that space of calm and happy, regardless of the fact that things are back to reality in literally a month. So what are you guys out there doing? How are you preparing for September? How are you preparing for going back to these big projects that you have at work, or dealing with your children going back to school and having these longer days that end and get dark so much sooner? How are you handling it? Well, I'm putting myself in the mind, body, and spirit of taking care of myself. I want to be able to share with others how you can do that. So I'm having an event. It is Defining You Life Fitness Center, which is my counseling organization, that will be putting on the Season of Soul Symposium. And this symposium is for every woman out there, no matter what age you are. I want to encourage you to stay lit through the darkness. It is so important that we maintain that same energy, that same vigor that we started the beginning of the year with towards the end of the year. Even though things get a little hectic and we got to go back to our original scheduled programming, we still should be able to maintain that same fire. So I want to be around these amazing women, building and bonding and just speaking about what we can do to encourage and inspire each other to keep the fight, to stay in the fight, to stay lit in the darkness. Means for you to figure out a way to manage, a work-life balance. It's a way for you to take care of yourself and still maintain self-care. In addition to you still having relationships outside of work, going out with your friends, maintaining those celebrations and not resulting to being at home under the covers and waiting for the sun to come out in the spring. So I hope to see you guys at the Season of Soul Symposium. It is going to be amazing. A bunch of women just coming together to encourage each other, to love on each other, and to show each other that we all go through the same thing. It's just a matter of how we actually go through the experience, what our journey is, and we may be able to impart some good tips to each other. So, I'm all about self-improvement. I'm all about just living your life in color and being all that God created you to be. I had the pleasure of meeting this amazing woman a few weeks ago at the Thoughts Magazine event that I attended. And after this woman spoke, oh my God, I was like, I have to meet her. She was such light. She was such fire. She was magnetic. She was the sort of the host for the event. She came up, she did a little routine, gave us some jokes. She was fire. And I had to meet her. And after speaking to her and getting to know her story, I just knew that it was important for her to come here and share with you why she is that light, why she is that fire, why she is that person that is living out loud. So I would like to introduce you to my amazing guest. Her name is Mss Francois, and she is a dynamic entertainer, speaker, producer, writer, author, and game-changing trendsetter that aims to inspire. She migrated from Trinidad and Tobago in her late teens to establish a new legacy for her life. She's the host of the Mss Francois Show, a talk show that encompasses candid conversation with a variety of entertainment and uses humor to help others with their dysfunctional relationships. The show was created out of the frustration and heartache over her failed relationships and romantic relationships. Many tune in to be engaged, empowered, and entertained. Her one-woman show, which was frustrated at the Theater Row in New York, open to sold-out performances. And in addition, her TEDx talk, Heartbreak is Not the End, You Are Just Transitioning, was met with great reviews. She's also the winner of the District 46 Toastmasters Humorous Speech Competition in New York, leveraging the unique lessons she learned throughout her life's journey. Mss Francois has held several positions in Toastmasters and the organizations that seek to assist others in public speaking. She is also on the board of managers at the Cross Island YMCA, and she is on the advisory board for Aim High, where she is part of making sure that it's a savvy approach to life and timeless as she continues to empower, inspire, and make others laugh. So I would like to welcome the beautiful, funny, talented, and oh my God, just amazing Mss Francois.
Let me tell you something.
I knew you wanted
I am freaking amazing. I am sexy. I am looking at the slideshow. I'm like, move. Let me take over.
Yes.
Well, thank you. I will not be humble at this time.
Yes.
Because as you heard all the things she said, you all should want to meet me too, because I want to meet me.
I love that. That's why I told you I had to meet you. Everyone in that room had to meet you, and I'm sure you made your rounds.
Yes.
Okay, girl, just call me. Yes, here's my information. This is my number. I love it.
It was an amazing event, and I met a lot of amazing people. Not as amazing as me,
Yes.
but it's
Yes.
okay.
I love
Nothing
that
wrong with being
attitude.
second.
I love that. I love that. You see that? You see how I brought confidence to you, not once, not twice, but 3 times. You are so wonderful, amazing, great, and beautiful.
Thank you.
I love the fact that you're so humble.
That's what
I really
you ever
do.
look up the word humble? It basically, it's not that positive as where people think it is. It's just lowering yourself a little to make other people feel a little better.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't feel you should be humble. You should be an example. So I am being an example. And to me, whatever I share, you should be like, yeah, I could do that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And like, what are you doing? What are goals you're working on? Because sometimes you meet people and they're like, I don't want to talk about the degree I have. I'm like, why not?
Why not? That's right.
Exactly. You know how hard you work.
That's right.
People don't know. They always see your glory, don't know your story. So no,
Yeah.
you will know that I am amazing.
Exactly. I'm amazing. And I want to know how you got there. So I ask all of my guests to tell us a little about their background, their upbringing. I know that you're from Trinidad and Tobago. Tell us about your
You
childhood.
hear how she messed this up? We close to Labor Day. Number 1 people is Trinidad and Tobago, and she messed it up by island
I'm
name.
sorry, Trinidad and Tobago. Okay, so I need to put the accent on it too. Don't start, Mss Francois. Go ahead.
So this confidence that you see now basically took many moons. Because even coming here, one of the hardest things was coming and migrating to a brand new country. When in my country, everyone is auntie and uncle, everybody is family. It's simple, it's small. Coming here, look, don't hold me to this, but when you come to New York, it's very scary. People walk by you, no one really cares. Everybody's me, and I'm not accustomed to that.
Yeah.
So it was really scary, and I was a very shy person. So it took, after being abused in many ways,
Aww.
right? No, don't feel sorry. It made me who I am, so I'm good.
Okay.
But having to go through people not seeing your word, making you feel like you're ugly, you're not important, and sometimes if you keep going through those things, after a while, it's like riding a bike. You fall off a few times, you're like, I gotta do something. I gotta get a helmet. So I think because of those situations, I began to evolve.
Okay.
Right? And here you have this
are.
dynamic.
I love it. I love it. Well, you said that you came here and I mean, where did you get the fact that you weren't beautiful or you weren't enough? Like, was there no support? You didn't see it in the adults around you?
You know what it is? My parents are amazing. They're very supportive in that. No matter what I want to do, they're supportive.
Mhm.
But when you grow up in an island, and which part we call it the bush,
Okay.
there's no one in the back. There, and again, it's according to how they grew up also.
Right.
You know, like my parents got out of school by the time they're 13, 16.
Wow.
So no real parents to really support them. So they do the best that they can. So I don't hold that against them. But just my mom left when I was around 11. So my dad basically raised us.
Right.
So, you know, he did the best he can, but he's a dad. He's working.
Yeah.
So sometimes you're kind of raising yourself. I have two little brothers, they're twins, and my sister, they were younger, so I was doing the mommy role. But it's a lot of times you wasn't focused on yourself, you was focused on other people, which I grew into and I kind of love doing.
Right.
But then you forget about yourself.
Exactly.
You know, so, and then you don't know your place. Just simple thing as having your menstrual cycle. I had mine like 13, 14, no one to tell me anything.
Yes.
So I feel like everything I was learning along the way. So I feel like I was like behind so many years and I had no strong female person in my life to say, oh, this is what you do, this is how.
Right.
So I'm just, maybe you watch TV, maybe you read a book, and
that's how you
that's
learn.
life.
Wow. So you get here now, you're in the States, and I know it was so different. I know it was really?
Yes,
there was no beauty. You found no beauty in being here.
I was angry. Like today is Michael Jackson's birthday.
Oh,
okay.
Happy birthday, Michael.
And I would say it's so strange. Like the reason I have that attachment to Michael, because when I was here, I came here in 1996, so 1995, and around that time the album History came out. And if it wasn't for Michael and playing that music and certain songs in there, I don't think I would have
made it.
Yeah, not at all.
Really? So that album spoke to you?
Yeah, it's like the history, this like Stranger in Moscow, like certain things definitely related to me.
Right.
Just listening to that music, because the family I was with was not nice.
Right.
When people tell you to come to this country, we have you, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
It's not like that.
Yeah,
Okay, they were not nice people. They basically kicked me out. I was in a garbage bag outside, nowhere to go, those kind of stories.
Wow.
So people talk about immigrants, but you sometimes the stories that a lot of them don't tell you, it's really hard. Not knowing where to go, you don't know you don't know anything. It's scary.
I know.
You know, and I was 17 and I always said I had a mindset of a 10-year-old. So where am I going?
Exactly.
You know?
And you had no one at that time that you could kind of look up to or who was able to guide you here. No one.
No one. And if it wasn't for my like that particular day, girl, I was on the street. I'm always a polite person, so I used to always say hello, good morning to this guy in the barbershop.
Right.
And I walked by there, ask him to basically if I could come to his house. He's like, I got a wife, no, but you could sleep in the barbershop. But it so happened someone came by and they were nice enough to let me stay with them that night.
Wow.
But think about it, anything could happen. I could have been kidnapped, raped. I'm 17, I'm clueless.
Oh my goodness.
But I am grateful. Certain things just fall into place how it's supposed to.
Yeah.
And then that was in New Jersey. And then my dad had a friend, and then I was able to come to New York and stay with her.
Oh my goodness gracious. So
yeah,
look
if
at that.
I see those people
I
now.
know. Oh my Lord, if you're watching, actually, if you're watching, put your name in your chat. Anyway, so seriously, that's a hard experience.
Yes.
And I'm sure that it formed obviously who you are.
Definitely.
But at that moment, I mean, now you're in New York with this new family. Did you find some sort of semblance of, wanting to know who you are or feeling that you knew who you were at that time?
Yeah,
that
I was
now
clueless.
I'm strong.
Clueless. That's why I started looking for man. Okay.
Yeah,
man.
no. You had to be strong coming out of that, though.
I was strong to a point, right? It was strong where I started talking because I was very quiet. So I started talking because I realized if I don't say anything, people they use you like a dog.
Yeah.
Right. So I slowly started talking, but I still was looking. I feel like I kept looking for a tribe, somewhere to belong. And it seemed, even though I was quiet, I still had this personality inside. But no, I didn't know how to let that out.
Yeah.
So, but I think my biggest thing was looking for a tribe. oh, so I kept looking in relationships for that solace, because most of my family was back home in Trinidad.
Right.
Right. So you're looking, you find this guy, he say you're pretty, you say, okay, oh my God.
Yeah.
And then maybe he has a family, you're like, you're trying to fit in, trying to be more of a people pleaser than being who you are.
Yeah. Wow. Were you looking for, I mean, considering you came from that sort of culture where family is important, you stick with each other, you take care of each other. Was that what you were trying, you were looking for?
That's what I was looking for, but what I was getting was the opposite.
Really? Like what do you mean?
Yeah. Right, because like in Trinidad or my family, everybody look out for each other. Everyone is happy. Like, let me give you this. You need food, whatever. But here is different. It's scary, and no one prepares you for something like that. Wow, that is
amazing. So now, obviously, you're going through these relationships, you know, that are not successful. And
now she's making me out to sound like
I'm just saying, no, I'm not.
Look how much man I was with.
You are so funny. Well, you said you were looking for a tribe. I don't know how many kings and princes you went through, but I'm just saying. But wait, so now, you're going through these relationships. You see that they're not fulfilling. When did you say, "Nah, I have to worry about me. Like I have to take care of myself"?
So this is when other people come in the picture and sometimes have to shake you, because sometimes you truly keep. People always say, "Oh, you learn from it." No, you don't learn nothing. Okay, you keep repeating the same cycle
over and over.
That's why I'm so big on certain friendships, but I don't call it friends, like confidants, right? The people are just gonna first they listen, then they shake you, right? And I think meeting certain people and people pouring positive things into you and waking you up, because sometimes when you're in your body, you don't see certain things, and other people can see so much better. You know, so I think it take a little shaking up to start doing different things a little differently to get different results.
No, I get it.
I was kind of stupid.
Well, did you know what you wanted to do with your life, you know, at that time? Like
at that time, like I work in the financial institution. Okay. So a lot of times I like policy and procedure. I like learning new things. So I got that job. Basically, I was about to be homeless. So I got a job, but you know, you continue to move up.
Right.
But some of the things I'm doing now, hell to the no. Hell no. I wanted to just be barefoot and pregnant. My husband come home. I make him a nice meal. I was raised like that, and I love the family dynamic. Yeah. I don't want to be outside working hard. Oh, I'm an independent woman. Hey, I don't need no man. Okay, that's for you people. That's not for me. Okay?
That's not what she wanted.
Right.
Oh my God. Well, when the reality set in that you realize, you know what, that's exactly who I'm going to be, because you are all of that. You are that independent woman. You are that person.
And that's why I have no man, because I'm too damn independent. You see the problem?
Let's talk about that.
Oh,
why can't we be independent and still have that confidence?
You see, this is where we go wrong. We extra. Right? So even when the great, amazing guy comes in, he doesn't even know where to go, because I can do that. I can open the calm down. You all say you want one thing, but exuding something different. Where he's supposed to fit in? He can't open the pickle jar. He can't. There's nothing for him to do because you're super strong. Then go do it.
Yeah, well, what about the guys that aren't doing that and they're still not worthy and they're still showing up, still trying to date you?
Okay, so why are you talking to them?
I'm just
okay. You sound like you're entertaining the wrong thing.
Well, true, but I mean, you know how well packaged they come sometimes. You know?
Yes, and as soon as you start to unwrap the package,
then that's when you realize.
Exactly. Our problem is we keep saying,
your
well, he has
independence
potential,
comes in.
and maybe. As soon as you have to say maybe, it's next.
Yeah. And sometimes it, like you said, we keep doing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, and they could call it insanity. I just call it stupidity.
It is. It's
like, look it up. It's not insanity.
Especially if you wasn't doing it when you were in your 20s and your early 30s and you're willing to accept it now that you're older. I think
sometimes when we get older, it's time. You feel like maybe I just should settle. I'm getting older. I have like 2 eggs left. I have like 5 eggs. So, and I get it, because there was a point that I felt that way. Oh, thank God I knocked out. Oh, Lord, no. Right? So you're like, I may as well settle. I'm getting older. how many men left, and then all these young hoochie girls with the butt and titties outside taking all the men. So you're just trying to find where you fit in. But no, I'm too fabulous.
That's
okay.
right. She's
And
too
again,
amazing
if
for
I'm
that.
this fabulous, there's someone else just as fabulous. Maybe he not in this state. Maybe he not in this. You know.
That's right.
So
that's right.
But I just believe and just continue being who I am. He right now he look. Hey.
He's already looking. That's right.
Once you over 5'9",
That's
right?
That's
Trevor
right.
Noah type. Okay. I'm just saying.
I
You
love
never
it.
know.
And you're right. Just taking yourself outside of your normal element, I think, will open up a lot of doors as well, because you have to be in a space where they are able to handle and be prepared for your fabulousness.
Exactly.
Not everyone is able to do that, you know?
And that's fine.
Yeah, that is fine. I get it. So you are now, I mean, pursuing your career. Did you go to college? Did you pursue anything outside of what you're doing
am
now?
one of those people. I love to learn. I love to always do something new. There's always something. So I do have 2 master's degree.
Excellent.
Wait, 2 master's degree, not 1. And
Oh
that's
my
a lot of
God.
work. And I don't
You are
even
good
like
on
school.
paper, girl.
Okay?
Yes.
But I just believe if there's an opportunity, my job paid for part of it. So I'm like,
take it.
take it. So I have 1 in human resources and 1 in business administration.
Wow. That is so
that
nice.
is true. Wow.
Whoa. No, really. This is why she's fabulous. You know she is. She'll keep telling you all about it. So listen, I want to know, when you're now in college, did you start to learn, more about your self-worth and gain more confidence and your self-esteem, and was able to have people be your role models at that time?
In college, it was totally different. First of all, I was night school, so I was one of the youngest ones there. I was like in my 20s, and then everyone else was older with kids and stuff. So I didn't have, when there was no way to really mesh, because we were, different age groups, so forth and so on. So I didn't even make, it was friendly. You did the work or assignments, but I didn't come out of there, because most people make friends in college and stuff. But it was so different that I didn't have any friends. It was just friends during that time, and then you leave school, and that was it. So I think most of my friends came when I'm big into like personal development. Like I was big into personal development when I didn't know what it was. Right. And I think finding people that's similar to you and have things in common, I think that's where I started meeting, I should say, attracting people. Starting to join different organizations like Toastmaster, like Aim High. So, and Momentum Education, that's when I started to find somewhat of my tribe.
Wow. I love that. So when did you feel the transition? Like this fabulous person emerging?
But you know what's weird? I feel like when you're going through the whole thing, you don't even realize it. Sometimes you ever stop and look back at some pictures in your life, and you're like, sometimes you like, oh, I need to get this. But when you look back, you're like, wow, I was fabulous then. And when you look back then, you were thinking, oh, I wasn't this, I wasn't that. So I think it progressed and it continued. And now when I look back, I see certain times when I definitely grow. Like even this morning when I was on the way to the gym, keeping this body on point, I literally did like a short live saying like from last year to now, when you pause, you really need to take that pause, just like you was in the restaurant sitting for that hour, even though you have issues sometimes being alone, but you really start to reflect. For simple as last year, I have come such a long way from friendships, from my job, from my goals, from my dreams, where I am now, where I know I'm going to be. And one thing I think I always fought with is just being present, because you're always like, when Friday come, when this come. So and then time is passing, you're just getting older, and then you're like, so it's like fighting with your own self. You're fighting this battle. But I'm definitely continue to work on being present. And it's just me stopping and realizing in each, you could see even 5 years, every year, so much has changed. And I could truly say that I'm happy with myself at this present time. And it's a good feeling.
I love that.
And I still ain't got no man.
But it's okay, because he's coming. Let me tell you something. I strongly believe, because you've created this person that owns who she is and stands in her truth, that is going to attract that person that's able to handle that, because not everyone can. And that they say they can, they won't stick around long enough to actually see that continue to grow. You know what I mean? Because you're going to be ever changing. You're going to be ever growing. It takes a huge person,
Yeah.
heart, mind, body, and spirit, to be able to be around that and want to engage in that light. You know what I mean?
Right.
Not everyone can. So I'm giving you time. You got time, my
Okay.
friend.
I
You
thought
said,
I
like
thought you
you
was
got.
going to tell me she know a Sean or Kevin or something.
I probably do. Don't wait. I just don't want to share everybody's name on live TV. But you said you got a few eggs on lock, so trust me, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. But I mean, knowing that it took you that journey, do you regret anything that you went through? Being homeless, being thrown out, the fact that you were here and your family didn't have like family members or cousins, anyone that can take you in and help you.
The girl,
I'm
family's
shocked.
the worst.
Oh my God, I am so shocked about
them is the one that put me out.
Wow.
The cousins
Were
and
they
the
trying
aunties.
to turn you into the help? Were you?
Well, yeah, you had one of those things where you didn't know you were the help, where you were like, okay, go pick up the kid, go do these things. But at that time, you're like, I'm helping my family.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and when money is not coming in on my side, all of a sudden they treat you differently and say all these things. I remember one of the biggest thing was I like reading, so I used to be in the library. And if you're ever in a Caribbean family, you must be looking for man, you're taking man. And I'm here in the library reading, like so certain things. But when people talk about regret. First of all, I hear when people say, I have no regrets. I feel that's a lie. That's your excuse to make yourself feel better. But don't quote me on that's what you all want to carry on with. That's fine. But I truly believe even though it has turned me into who I am now and I love who I am at this present moment, there are many times you reflect, no one... Oh, I am glad I went through that. It hurt because even though you could get all the therapy, maybe you might be okay with it, right? And accepting that and certain responsibility, but sometimes it still hurts because that was a family, that was a friend. Certain things you didn't have to go through. You wish you knew this or you knew this person. You know, just a phone call could have changed things. So there are times, definitely, when I reflect, that if I had known this when I was this age, how things could have shifted, you know? Because I remember people being in my life, like now when I, even with my present job and I meet young people, I'm always like, do this, do that, 401k, calculate, right? And when I look back, I'm like, I had so many adults wrong in my job, but no one pulled me to the side and say, you know, you could do this. So I do have regrets because I could have, in many different ways, I could have been way further along in life. But again, God has his own plan. I wish he would tell you what it is.
That's right. You're walking in it right now.
So in that instant, looking this fabulous at my age.
That's right. That's right.
So I respect God's plan, and I'm definitely just continuing on my path, my journey, because when I look back, it's phenomenal. Well, that's what I was going to ask you next. Like those experiences, how did they really shape you? I'm sure we don't like to compare ourselves to other people and women especially. But like you said, had you had, you know, certain people in your life that were encouraging you and supporting you, maybe you would have been a lot further than you are right now. But in terms of like the lessons that you learned, how has it shaped you for who you are right now, even without that support? I think the number one thing is because all the things that I realized that I lack during that time, that is what I tried to give people. So I'm big on giving back. I'm big on serving people, helping people. It's just so much embedded in me because I'll see someone, especially if someone just come from a foreign country. Again, I'm like, did you know this? Did you, you know, so it makes me feel better, you know, and see how much. And even sometimes this girl recently told me, she's like, just so you know, before you came here, I because of you, I'm even happier. Like you make me feel so much more confident. I could do public speaking. And I'm like, sometimes even when I'm giving and helping, you don't even realize until someone says it, and you're like, like it hits right here. And that's all. Don't cry. That's enough.
But I get it. I get it. You feel that void. You know what I mean? Something that someone did not extend to you. You're doing it, and you're doing it selflessly and effortlessly. You know what I mean? I love that. This is why she's fabulous, folks. This is why. So you've gained this confidence. You are now walking around just shining your light on everyone. Tell me what you would like us to know is important about gaining confidence gaining self-esteem and self-worth.
Because I feel like when you reach there, it opens so much doors for you, you know, just be able to speak up for yourself. Because sometimes it's just like a networking event. You could be in a room with, it could be Oprah, it could be Steve Harvey, it could be Ellen, anybody. But if you can't speak up for yourself, represent yourself, it doesn't matter who was in the room, right? So I think me being who I am now, definitely, I'm here with you, right?
Yes, that's right.
So it's amazing, like some things that are coming up for me now and doors that are opening. Again, you'll be like, if I was 25, but I'm like, it's now. And again, me being now even this age where I am, look how I could be an example for someone else.
Oh, there's no doubt. That's why it's happening at this time.
Yes.
You were being prepared and equipped for this moment so that you can speak to it as an expert. You know what I mean?
Yes.
As a person,
crazy?
no, that's
My
amazing.
God.
Your life story needs to be told and shared because of the fact that so many other people go through it. They just don't know how to come out of it. And you learned how to do it. You've mastered how to do that. You've mapped a new path for yourself.
Yes,
So tell me about how to map that new path and owning that, because it takes time. Did you go to therapy? Did you seek any counseling?
So this is my thing. Every time I try therapy, right? Because I believe in therapy, coaching, mentorship, fully. But anytime I go to therapy or try to find, you know, you kind of shop around just like everything else, they will look at me like, you're fine. So maybe they literally, at least 2 to 3 therapists have told me,
you're okay.
Like, you're good. Like, honestly, like sometimes I'll think, I'm like, so these are the problems and this is what it needs to do. So and one lady, I remember therapy, she's like, why did you call me? So I'm like, oh no. So what
asking you to help them?
Right. So one of the things, and even one of them I remember, she during the whole therapy session, she's dying with laughter. And I'm like, I don't think this is how this works. But what I do realize, like we all need, you know, something, right? So I think like I attend something called Momentum Education that helps. They have like different forms of classes and more group sessions, and they give you more clarity on your life, you know, structure certain things that you didn't know what you didn't know. Right. So it kind of gives you this awakening. So I think I do better in some group activities and show how I show up and see where you can make adjustments. But one-on-one,
that is hilarious. And only because you're probably already telling them, look, I lived it, I experienced it, I own it, and I'm standing in it. What you're trying to do, I guess, is just process it, you know, and you want the guidance to process it. Like, how do I live differently now that I know, you know, and now that I understand the emotion, the feelings that I was supposed to go through that I didn't at that time. Because I know that you had to remain strong even when you didn't want to. I know that you wanted to give up even when
many times.
You see what I'm saying? When you refuse to. How do you compartmentalize that when you feel alone and know that you don't have the support, but know that you cannot let yourself fail? You know what I mean? So how do you do that?
I think a lot of times too, it's like every time I'm big on, okay, it's okay to be sad, it's okay to be down, but it can't be 6 months later you're trying to get up. Right? And then you really, like, I'm big on the pauses. Like I always say, pause. Even when you go to cuss somebody out, pause. Right? Then you look at so many things in life. Like, okay, I got kicked out, but I had a place to sleep. You know, didn't have a job, but then I got this job. I had nowhere to pay for college.
But
the job paid. I have great family members that could say, oh, but she's whole at $20. I need more than 20. But, you know, so when you think about it, it's so much. How much time you hear Oprah talk about being grateful? Get a journal, all these different things. And we take it for granted. But when you really pause and think, I have my foot, I have my legs, I have my brain, I am healthy. I mean, this is come on. 5'5", brown eyes, caramel complexion, total perfection.
Yes, indeed.
So I have so much more going for me than that's not going for me. And everything is temporary. You know, it has a quote, something along the lines, if you don't like your circumstances, then change them.
Change them.
Right. But people, I think, spend too much time wallowing on me and my mom and my dad. Your mom and some of your parents already passed away. You can't keep blaming them.
And you're still holding them responsible for your lack of failure or whatever else.
And I think my biggest thing that upset me, again, therapy might work for somebody. Like, it have different things. like be proactive and find out what those things are. Because telling your story over and over is exhausting, and I'm not the one. I'm not
the
I can't-
one to be
Girl,
shared it with.
I always
Exactly.
tell people, don't ask me to coach you. Don't ask me for. That's why I, like on my show. That's why I bring in the experts, because certain
Yes.
things,
You
my
have to
attention
follow.
span, I'm like, what?
You did what? And you was in it for how long? And you didn't stop. I get that. So tell us real quick about your show, actually, the Mss Francois.
Okay. So the show is Mss Francois. After me, that's MSS for multi-talented and super sexy. So the show encompasses, it's kind of conversations just like we're having.
Yes.
I would have entertainers sometimes, and then the biggest part is the conversation I would have with whoever the guest is, but an addition of humor.
Right.
Because I feel like when you add humor, people stay a little longer. They remember some of the messages, and they could take it with them. You know, so it's all about basically relationships. Because I think when you hear you and your girlfriend talk, everyone think they're alone going through the situation.
Yeah.
We all been cheated on.
Thank you.
It mightn't be a last.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
So
right.
right. So I think in this format, people are much more engaged. So when they flip in a channel, they're like, oh, sometimes I have comedians on, they're like, oh, you know, so people stop, let me hear what's the line, and they'll stay longer.
Wow.
You know?
They never know what they're in store for,
Yeah,
but they will
exactly.
get a message out of each
Right.
one.
And with my
I
personality.
love it. Yes, yes, I get it. She's done it here, folks, on your R Unity. Everything that you inject in your show has happened here today. So I love that. And I love that the message is how to navigate relationships. And, you know, being a person you've been married before as well, right? Been in a marriage and know how it is to also be single in this world today. Oh my God. What are the differences? Because you still are not in a relationship, unfortunately, but it's only short term. Trust me. What are the differences?
So when I look back to like before, especially you got to keep in mind, I'm from Trinidad, so that's different culture, right? Back then, you meet a boy, I like you, you like me, we get married, and we move in right next to your father and your mother, and they're all in your business in the room next door, right? But it's a whole family. You make the kids walk upstairs to mommy and daddy, they watch it, you go to work. That's what it is.
That was family.
Yeah, one of the things is you have to, sometimes strong songs like that negative word when it comes, because you have to be, but initially you do have to be, because then you have to fend for yourself. You have to figure out everything to yourself. Less guidance, especially again coming to a new country, not knowing anybody, and the people you know is not that helpful. So it's a huge difference. So now here is you're dating, and in this day and age is you have the dating apps, you have the network dating, you have, you know, and these days you woman giving a pum pum too easy, so it makes it hard for people that don't want to give a pum pum and have morals. Right.
Yes,
so it's totally different. Before, back in the day, you had to meet the dad
organically.
The mom.
Yes.
Right. So now it's none of that.
Swiping right and
exactly.
Swiping
So it's just totally different. And here you are, it's like, no, we need to talk. I need to feelings. I need to be vulnerable. I need to understand me and what I want, what you're bringing. It's all these different things, and somebody else just giving me free pum pum. Why would he want to know what I want?
Exactly. Or even care, because there's a million of you out there. Exactly. My girlfriend told me recently, and she's been doing this, and I love it. Again, not accepting things in her 20s that she's willing to now accept in her 50s. She's not going to settle. She says she's a gift, and what she's going to do, she's going to date as many people as it takes for them to win this gift, which she is that gift.
Yes.
Because a lot of women do. We meet these men on social media, and they're telling you what you want to hear, you know, and not giving you what you want, but telling you what you want to hear. And then you stop all of your shine and all of your, you know, hope for the man in your life, because you have this one just whispering sweet nothings, and you're giving up what you say, the pum pum. I hope Cable's not I hope Cable's not gonna have a problem with that, but we'll see.
That's why I cleaned it up.
If we don't air next week, it's because of Mss Francois. But yeah, so basically, it's hard sometimes because of that fact. Like, there are so many women out there that are willing to do that. But if you treat yourself like the gift that you are, and you walk around with that confidence, with that self-esteem, and with that belief that you are the prize, and you are just going to wait for someone to be eligible enough and worthy enough to win that prize, is what we all should be doing. And I think that's literally what
Amen,
you're
sister. Preach.
That's what you're doing right now. You're waiting for someone to win the prize. So don't be waiting for the man. You know what I mean? You go out there and you
do
date his
exactly.
Exactly. You meet and
Have
greet
fun.
and have fun, and don't give up the boom boom and
Yeah.
fuck people. But don't, just don't overdo it, but do
Yeah.
just enough that you're showing your worth to that
Yeah.
person. And that's it.
And again, it took me a while to get here. So people is like, oh my God, I want to be like her. How did she do
Yeah.
it? It takes a while.
Yeah.
It takes making mistakes, getting back up, starting again. So don't be too hard on yourself.
Well, tell me how do you begin to start living out loud? That's really what the message is today, folks, is living out loud like you do, unapologetically. This is who I am. Love me or leave me alone. How do you get to that point? And tell us.
So for me, when it comes to like the relationship and because of the show and stuff and getting hurt and realizing, okay, this is not what I want to keep doing. I don't want to keep hitting my knee and hitting my head. And again, these are some of the things I've did. Reading the right books. How much times the millionaires, the billionaires say about reading, but we can take it for granted. I read a lot. I listen to a lot of the E.T., the hip hop preacher. I do the Jim Rohn. I do so many different people. I get myself in different organizations. You start to learn things. You start to live. Well, I said I don't have a box, but for the average people, you live outside the box. But and again, you're attracting certain people.
Yes.
Just simple thing of me being Toastmaster. I started Toastmaster maybe 9 years ago, meeting people, and those people draw out certain things. I remember now I'm speaking up a storm. 9 years ago, I was like, I ain't saying nothing. I'm like, these people crazy. Public speaking, that's madness.
Right.
But the right people see you, people could see you have a gift, encourage you, and you just, again, everything is practice. So I think slowly is the people that God knows when you need certain people in your life to pull you to that next step, right? Because it's steps. I think people try to leap too much, and that's when you fall and break your ankle. So attracting the right people, I definitely slowly but surely brought me to this point.
Right.
And I think on that journey, you start to find yourself. You try to find where you fit in. Sometimes how they say, if you find a business that you want, you mimic certain things.
Right.
You should start there.
Yeah.
But then form your own path.
Yeah.
And I think that, it's just finding that balance and where you fit in, where you can be different, where you shine.
Right.
And it's already there. You just need the right people around you to bring it out.
That was my next question too, in regard to you being able to have that voice now. You said that you were very quiet and very reserved before. Now you're like, are you chasing that, that energy, that constant need to be the voice and always speak up?
It's funny you say that, because a lot of times, even though, because that childlike thing that I have is still there. So a lot of times, even when I go in certain, like when we went to that event, when I first go in a room, I'm very quiet. I sit, I need to observe. It's still the old me. Yeah, I observe, I look, and I realize I call it the Michael Jackson syndrome, right? Where he's quiet, but when you stand out in front of a crowd, all of a sudden it's like you're free.
Yeah.
You just get to be who that person is on the inside. So it's different for me, and I'm sure it'll be different for other people, but that's definitely me. So I'm still have that old me in me. It's never gonna go, because that's part of who you are anyway.
Right.
But I think I mesh them together really well.
No, you do, because you did not walk up there with that energy at all. Like, she walked up there like she owned that room, talking about the organization and still trying to inject the fact that she's single and she needs a man, asking people to raise their hand and who's single and who is not, because there was some men up in there, my friend. So
even the married one was like, I think I'm single
because
today.
they was checking you out. You was every bit of fabulous that day, my friend. You really, really was.
Thank
so
you.
let me just ask you now that your foot is so deeply rooted in who you are right now, and you've navigated this amazing path for yourself. What is the new now next for Mss Francois?
So right now, I still have my show, the Mss Francois show. So that's still ongoing. I somewhat paused. They say the 5 is a number of balance, right? So I felt like, okay, most people show, like how your show has lasted long. Most people, they say, don't even pass like 9 episodes.
Oh, wow.
9 to 12 episodes. So if you pass 12, you're amazing, right? So I think it's amazing how far that has come and the people I'm able to have on, so forth and so on. But me personally, again, while you're in the show, I also grow a lot, right?
Yes.
And I got better at public speaking. I realized to think that was something 9 years ago I said I would never want to do.
Really?
And I'm more into like the public speaking. Like recently I was on NY Black MBA conference, and I was like,
Nice.
it was pretty awesome. That was like something, you know,
Congratulations.
thank you. When you look back in life, I remember seeing the organization like, wow.
Wow.
And I'm like, no, I'm one of the presenters. No, I'm one of the speakers.
Look at
You know, it's amazing.
Yes.
And then, so I'm more into the public speaking, the keynote speaker aspect of things. But another thing, that's the entertainment part. I do something called comedic monologues. So a lot of people go, what?
What do you mean?
So it's like I take speeches, right? But I add the comedy to it. So it's like a monologue. So a lot of times the reason I do that is because people like to say, oh, you're a comedian.
Yeah.
And I'm always go, no. I have respect for comedians, because as soon as you tell someone is a comedian, as soon as you reach up, like, make me laugh.
Yep.
I don't need that kind of stress and pressure. So when I say comedic monologue or monologue, they're like, okay, I have to give her some time. Let's see what she's going to talk about. But when I inject the comedy in there, they're like, oh my God.
Yes, you're hilarious.
So they're getting the message. But you know, so I go around doing like some of those, like for different organizations and stuff like that.
Sort of like to break the ice, like icebreaker.
Yeah.
For the event.
So when I did the NY thing, she let me do like a 5-minute thing surrounding the theme was the power of you.
Right.
So I basically discuss how women, they're struggling, whatever. But I'm going to go to the NY MBA to get me a man that's business, or like I use the MBA. Look, so I change up some things,
right,
make it comedic, and you know, people enjoyed it, and then I got to speak. So that was an awesome experience.
That's nice.
So those are the two main things I'm definitely pivoting towards, but it's all under the Mss Francois show umbrella.
Right.
So it's just people realize it's like you're not quitting, but you're pivoting, but it's all encompass the entire thing.
Yeah.
Damn, I'm amazing.
Yes, she is. She really is. I'm sure you've seen the pictures as I was reading her bio and chopping it up and down at the end. But the fact, and I'm sure you tell me all about that later. But yeah, no, I can see where you could go. You know, you encompass so many different talents and ways that you can sort of disseminate your message. So I could see you just really doing well at this comedic monologue, as well as the public speaking and sharing your story with others, because you really do have an impactful story.
Thank you.
So time is winding down. I want you to share with us, Mss Francois. What is on your heart? What is on your mind? What do you want to share with our viewers?
I think at this particular point in time is definitely not give up. And you know that song cliche, like, oh, not give up. But really sit with yourself. See how far you have come. If you need to write it down, that's the best thing you could do. It's one thing to see it, visualize it, but writing it down, how far you have come, what your goals, what your true vision is. Again, and people, I don't think people realize these things can change, and it's okay. Certain things might have, someone might get sick. Maybe you want to be in a healthcare. Like, there's nothing wrong if things change, because all the things you learned before is going to help you on your new journey or your new path or your new career. Right? But just don't give up. Just keep going. Because definitely one thing I've learned from my show and doing it for 5 years is that I never wanted to be public speaking. I never wanted to have a TV show. I never want, even when I started the show, I was going to be behind the scene as a producer. So God have so much for us, you know, but just embrace it, be open, you know, and you never know where it could lead. So just don't give up, and just keep, wherever your journey might lead, just be open to it.
Yeah, I love that. Even in the midst of the challenges and the obstacles, this young lady was homeless, you know, for a time, and look at the fabulousness that sits before you, my friends. And she will tell you that over and over again.
In case you missed it.
In case you missed it. Thank you so much for being here. I want you to show her media kit real quick, her beautiful photo, and then we want to be able to follow you as well. And a little information about her podcast. You're at mssfrancois.com, as well as on Instagram at MSS_Francois. And her podcast information, Bobby, I think it's the photo before her meeting. Yes. And there is Mss Francois and her beautiful podcast. I love it. Congratulations on everything.
Thank you so much.
I so appreciate you for being here. You were hilarious. You did not disappoint, my friend. You really, really did. It's to the point where I think I want to be you to be my co-host. You know what I mean? Inject, the comedy and the love and all of that into the show. But seriously, you've been so, so great. Thank you so much.
No.
And I would love for you to come back as well.
Not
okay?
a problem, my dear.
All right. So I, my friends, would like to get real quick to the Dare to Be You. And the Dare to Be You is: stop hiding. Stop holding yourself back and playing yourself down. Stop worrying about how you look and what people are saying. Stop listening to what people are saying and trying to find out if they are whispering about you. Stop waiting for someone to tell you that you're okay or that or make you feel special. Life is special. It is a special gift. This is your life. Now take your gift and live it out in the open. Decide today that you're going to live out loud.
Wow.
And that is from the beautiful Algania Van Zant. And that's what we spoke to today.
That is awesome.
That is exactly what we spoke to.
Yes.
Exactly. And this young woman living out loud, living in color. Oh my God. Any inspiring word about how we can gain our confidence? We got like maybe 30 seconds left. Anything about how we can?
Just be conscious of the people you spend your time with. You hear that all the time. I always say, go in your phone, see the top 5 people you call all the time. Really decide if they're really adding or if they're subtracting from your life.
Yeah.
You could be a huge game changer.
Yeah.
A lot of times people don't pay attention to that.
Stop
hanging out with those people.
That's right, my friends. They are not worth your time. What do you like best about who you are right now?
Well, my smile.
Your smile. It is beautiful. Them teeth. They look beautiful, girl. They are. We're going to have to get a close-up of that. Go ahead.
No, definitely my smile and my ability to make people smile.
Yeah.
So that's definitely what I love about myself.
Yeah,
right
I love that. Well, I love it as well. She has a beautiful smile. I'd like to thank you again for being here. You guys, please, please watch out for this woman. You can also tune into her show, Mss Francois. It's on YouTube.
Yes, on YouTube.
Okay, perfect. And follow her on IG as well, or just go to her website. Well, folks, it has been another wonderful episode of Your Our Unity. Actually, it's been fabulous. It's been fabulous. I'd like to thank you for tuning in. I want you to tune in next week for another episode. And in the meantime, remember that peace and love is in the palm of our hands. Let's go out there and be some love, share some love, and just give some love. I want you to have a wonderful evening. And remember that we love you, and we will see you next week. Have a good one. Say good night, Mss Francois. Thank you. You're amazing.
Awesome.
Strong Island Entertainment.